Hey guys, what's up? It's David from Live Forever or Die Trying, and it's weird to be back in front of the camera today. I gotta be honest with you. As many of you know, I've been kind of AWOL like the last 6 months out of 2021, and I figured I'd use this video as a chance to explain where I was, explain the direction I want this channel to go in, and just kind of talk briefly about life without kind of boring y'all. And then I'm going to weave in some reading resolutions that help support a lot of this direction I want to go in. So I guess without further ado, talking a little bit about like what happened last year. So 2021 actually started out as a really good reading year for me. I think I put down 30 books in the first 6 months, so I was on track to do around 60, surpass my reading goal of a book a week. Towards the summer, business, we have the family-owned business, of course, was actually doing really well. We had a lot of momentum coming out of the pandemic, which I say coming out of the pandemic, we're in the midst of it with record cases now. But back then, looking like we were coming out of the pandemic, we started getting a lot of traffic in our business, posting really good numbers, and I even hit some sales goals myself, so really a lot of good news on that front. However, I found myself working more hours, found myself starting to sacrifice hobbies in order to focus more on work and execute a lot of what we sold and everything related to business. So my meditation habit went by the wayside, my supplementing, my forms of exercise such as rock climbing all kind of fell behind, and then reading as well kind of bit the dust in that. Now, towards the end of last year, even though this was like a really nice time for the family and the business and very successful, a lot of our anxieties about like financials went by the wayside. Blessed for that, but anxiety just within expectations, and then my personal mental health, which I've been very fortunate not to struggle with too much, started ramping up. I actually had my first kind of soft anxiety attack at work, which was fun. And since then, it hasn't been too bad, I gotta be honest. It was like a little bit of a rough patch, but overall, we're good. So coming into 2022 is kind of a weird time for me, to be honest. I had a lot of things about 2021 that were really good and very fortunate, and then some bumpy roads. But all that said, I don't want y'all to worry about me or anything. I feel like I have it under control. I'm very cognizant of what the issues are, and I feel like I can work on them very easily. So coming into 2022, I have a lot of hope. I know the path that I need to be on. I know what makes me happy and what makes me fulfilled. And this channel, reading books, the hobby that I started a little over 3 years ago now as a New Year's resolution in 2019, that's definitely one of those things. So overall, life goals that I kind of like made New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna start getting back on my supplements, just covering like the basics, vitamin D, stuff like that. Very basic level nutrition and fitness. You know, this whole channel is Live Forever or Die Trying, right? So if we die, we kind of fail that. And covering those bases is a little important to me. So getting on exercising, meditation, hiking, rock climbing, you know, all that stuff that happens beyond the camera. I guess I should just mention that as one of my goals. But for reading specifically, I want to dive back in. And specifically this year, what I want to do with my reading, and this is my big goal for the year, is read books that are going to help support what I want to do in life. So in the past, I've read a lot of nonfiction that maybe isn't actionable in my real life. So for example, on my TBR right now, and there will be a TBR video coming, I have like The Myth of Artificial Intelligence here, put out by Harvard. Now this is a really fun book, right? But can I use any of this in my life? Not really. Maybe I can have some conversations at a bar or something, or talk to somebody who does algorithms or something. But really, I can't apply too much of that. It's more of a curiosity read. And I like those. They make me happy. But I want to do a heavy dose of something that I can read the book and then take actionable steps to implement that into my real life. I think that's something that will be fun on this channel, but will also provide periphery value for myself. So the first book I read this year was Nature's Best Hope by Douglas Tallamy, I believe his name is. But it's all about native plants and planting native plants, supporting food webs and your local ecosystem. For somebody like me who struggles with the idea of climate change, or rather not the idea of climate change, but how to react to knowing about climate change and climate grief in general, reading a book like this informs me on the topic, but also gives me an avenue to work on it. Just as a quick aside, I know climate change is, really a big impact on it is from corporations and whatnot, but even something simple like this, like planting some native, supporting local food webs and biodiversity, that's a small individual action I can take. And while it won't solve the problem, maybe with this platform, together we can do a little bit more. But for that book, I can take the lessons out of that book and apply them in my real life. I can also see myself doing this with books on meditation, fitness, as well as like politics and gardening. So as you know, I'm a big proponent of reading various political texts. And one idea that's been very, on my mind lately is the ideas behind solar punk and post-scarcity and mutual aid. And even on a local level, if that just means gardening and donating my surplus, or creating a community tool shed, or just recycling, or getting other people in my local community on board and just networking, I feel like that's something that would make me happy. And, the gift of giving and teaching other people through what I'm reading, I think is also going to be very good for me. So that's kind of like the big goal that I want to have this year, is just read books that I can action on in my real life. And, we might go into a little bit of self-improvement, some habit forming, stuff like that. But really, I would like it to be almost hobby-oriented, if that makes sense. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna do the 52 books in a year challenge again, 1 book a week. I'm off to a good start. I've got 2 down right now. Reading through this book on Charles Manson, Chaos, down here. Just finished up Acid Revival from the folks at Minnesota University Press, and got some others on the chopping block. So that looks like it's gonna be a reasonable goal to achieve. I've achieved it 2 out of 3 times the past 3 years. Other than that, YouTube related goals in general, I would love to get to 5,000 subscribers. I can't believe that when I went inactive, I was like 1,200, and now y'all put me at 2,700. That's wild from just 6 months of inactivity. Hello, new viewers. Nice to meet you, I guess. But the growth with the channel has just been wild, and I've mentioned this in years past, but social pressure and peer pressure works on me. If I know you guys are watching, that makes me want to make more videos. I feel like I owe it to you in a way that you've taken your time out and chosen to view my videos. So in a way, y'all are helping me a lot here. Along that note, Instagram blew up. I don't know how that happened, but my Instagram went from 800 followers to 2,000 in the past few months. That's wild too. But with these channels, I want to get to posting maybe a video a week. I don't want to put goals that are too lofty that I end up failing and then not following through for the rest of the year because I failed once or twice. But I think I could easily make enough content to do a video a week, whether that is a TBR a month, a reading wrap-up a month, maybe one. I've been toying with this video idea, but let me know, actioning on nonfiction. Going back to those goals, if I read a book on politics or gardening and then got in the real world and do that, is that something you'd like? Let me know. But right off the cuff there is 3 topics that I could do, or 3 video formats I could do once a month. And if I do one of those a week, then it kind of hits that goal. I would also love to know y'all's feedback, y'all's reading resolutions, and maybe I can incorporate some of those, because to be honest, I'm just getting back into this, really been focusing on reading only for the last 2-3 weeks here again. But I'm just trying to look at the new year to kind of get back on track, do what makes me happy, and interact with the community that we built here. So yeah, I'm sorry if this was a rambly video, but that's kind of where I am right now. I would love to know your thoughts, what you're planning on doing in the new year, and can't wait to see you guys around. Peace.